think you want revenge. You're too weak to even comprehend it. You're chasing shadows. You think revenge is some kind of destination, but let me tell you something, you're already lost. You're lost in your own delusion. Convinced that if you just get back at them, everything will be okay. But that's not what this is about. This isn't some fairy tale where revenge is a goal. It's not a finish line. It's a transformation. It's not about going after them, it's about becoming something they can't even imagine. You don't chase revenge. You become it. You've been playing the victim, thinking that your pain, your hurt, your humiliation was someone else's fault. Well, guess what? That's exactly what has kept you weak. The moment you blame others for your pain is the moment you hand them the power over your life. They own you. They control you. You've been giving them control without even realizing it. You think revenge is about getting even. No, it's about taking everything you've suffered and turning it into the weapon that destroys them, turning yourself into the weapon. Revenge isn't something you do. It's something you are. It's a fire that burns hotter inside you than anything they could ever do. That fire doesn't burn the enemy, it forges you. It makes you unstoppable. The moment you turn that pain, that anger, that rage into something real, into something that drives you to build, to grind, to dominate, you will realize the only thing you needed all along was the courage to stop being weak. Stop waiting for the world to give you justice. You take it. You rise from the ashes unbreakable. You become the force they never saw coming. Now look at yourself. Look at who you've been, who you are. Is that the person you want to stay? Or do you rise, turn your suffering into strength, and destroy the very thing that has kept you down? You're not the victim anymore. You're the predator, and it's time to hunt. You've been living a lie, convincing yourself that the world owes you something. But the truth, the world doesn't owe you a damn thing. You think you're deserving of revenge, but you haven't earned her. You've been sitting in the mud, drowning in excuses, feeding your mind with weakness. You've been hiding behind your pain, pretending it's a reason to stay stuck, to stay small. And that's exactly why you're still stuck. You're afraid to face the cold, unforgiving truth. You are the problem. Not them, not the world, you, your excuses, your refusal to fight. It's easy to blame others, to point fingers, to act like you're some helpless victim of a cruel world. It's easy to sit there in your own filth and convince yourself you can't rise. But the hard truth, you've been playing small. You've been weak, hiding behind the safety of excuses. You think people have done you wrong. But let's be honest, you've been doing yourself wrong every single day. You're not a victim, you're a coward. A coward too afraid to look at yourself and say enough. Too afraid to pull yourself out of the hole you've dug. Too afraid to stand up, face the storm, and burn everything that's held you back. But here's the cold reality. Revenge isn't about them. It's about you. It's about realizing that the only thing standing between you and your power is the weakness you've been holding on to. You think that if you hurt them, you'll feel better. But all you're doing is feeding your own insecurity. You can scream at the world, lash out at your enemies, but that won't change who you are inside. The only way to destroy your enemies is to stop being their prey. Stop being the one who gets knocked down, the one who's always reacting. You have to become the storm, the one who makes the rules. You have to decide that the world won't break you. It will either bend to you, or it will be torn apart by you. You don't need their validation. You don't need their apology. You need to stop waiting. The clock is ticking. You're wasting time on weakness. You're wasting time on everything that's been holding you back. You've been looking for a way out, but there's no escape. Not unless you're willing to fight. So here you are, standing at the edge of your own failure, staring down your worst enemy, yourself. You thought it was them, didn't you? You thought the ones who wronged you were the enemy. But the enemy was never them. It's you. You've been lying to yourself for far too long. You've been hiding behind your pain, your fear, your excuses, hoping for a miracle. a hand to pull you out of the darkness. But guess what? That hand doesn't exist. The only hand that will save you is the one you pull from your own clenched fist. It's time to stop pretending. Stop playing the victim. Stop waiting for life to hand you something you're too weak to fight for. You want to be stronger, you want revenge. Then you have to earn it. You have to face the darkness within you, the fear, the weakness, the cowardice, and rip it out from the root. It won't be easy. It will feel like you're tearing apart parts of yourself you've held onto for comfort. But that's the point. Comfort is your enemy. The comfort of excuses, the comfort of pain, the comfort of being stuck in a cycle of self-pity. You've been drowning in that comfort, and it's time to wake up and start swimming. This is your breaking point. This is where the weak you dies, and the warrior you've been hiding inside comes to life. Right now, you're standing on the precipice of everything you've been running from. The moment you face the truth, the moment you stop lying to yourself, that's when your real journey begins. This isn't a journey of revenge, it's a journey of rebirth. It's a journey where you become the force that tears everything down, rebuilds it, and stands at the top of it all unshaken. But first you must destroy everything that's been holding you back, starting with your own mind. You're not going to win by hiding anymore. You're going to win by confronting yourself, by embracing the pain, the struggle, the fear, and walking through it like a warrior, not a coward. The moment you stop being afraid of what's inside you is the moment you become the very thing you've been running from. You think you're weak? Prove it. You think you've lost? Prove it wrong. There is no excuse left. Only action. Only strength. Only survival. This is the test. Are you ready to break the chains, or will you stay chained forever? You've reached the point of no return. There's no going back from here. You've been hiding in your excuses, but now you have nowhere to hide. You've felt the sting of your own weakness. You've been shown the truth. You are the one who has held you back. It wasn't them. It was you. You've been letting fear dictate your life. You've been letting insecurity control your every move. Now it's time to let it all burn. Everything you thought was safe, everything you thought was comfortable, let it all go. This is where the real work begins. You don't get to complain anymore. You don't get to blame anyone. You can no longer sit on the sidelines, hoping the world will change for you. It won't. The world doesn't care about your pain, your past, or your wounds. The world only respects power, only strength, only those who refuse to stay down when life tries to bury them. You have to decide right now, are you going to stay a victim, or are you going to rise, transform, and destroy everything that's been holding you back? Understand this, you've been preparing for this moment your entire life. Every battle, every setback, every failure wasn't by accident. It was all training. It was all building you for this moment. It was forging you into the weapon you need to be. But you can't use it unless you step up and embrace your true power. The choice is yours. You can keep living in fear, keep pretending that someone else is coming to save you, or you can rise and take control. You can become the very thing that they all feared. The relentless force that does not bend, does not break, and does not apologize for its existence. This is your turning point. You don't need anyone's approval. You don't need anyone's help. You are the storm. You are the weapon. You are the fury. The moment you stop giving in to the weakness inside you, you will become untouchable. You will be unstoppable. Every fear, every doubt, every insecurity, they are nothing but fuel for your fire. The only thing left is to decide if you're going to stand up and burn everything in your path, or if you'll stay buried in your own failure. There is no middle ground. It's time to rise or it's time to die. Choose. You've been given the answer. You've been shown the truth. Now it's time to accept it. No more hiding. No more distractions. Everything you've been running from is standing right in front of you, and there's no one to blame but yourself. You've wasted enough time, played it safe long enough. The world doesn't care about your hesitation. It doesn't care about your doubts. The world only respects those who rise above the struggle, who turn their pain into power. This is your moment. Your moment to stop being weak, to stop being afraid, to stop pretending you don't have what it takes. The only thing left is the choice you make right now. You're standing on the edge. You've seen the truth. You know that the only thing standing between you and greatness is the fear you've been holding on to. That's what you've been afraid of all this time, the truth of your own power. You've convinced yourself you're not enough, that you can't do it. But guess what? That's just the lie you've been telling yourself. You've been holding yourself back. You've been afraid to unleash the monster inside you, the one that will destroy everything that's ever stood in your way. The storm inside you is ready to break free. But here's the thing, no one is coming to save you. No one is going to reach out their hand to lift you up. If you want it, you'll have to take it. You'll have to burn through every ounce of weakness, every ounce of fear, and turn it into fuel. The fight you've been avoiding is the fight you need to win. Every time you let doubt creep in, you're telling yourself that you're not worthy. You're telling yourself that your dreams are for someone else, not for you. That stops now. This is it. There is no more room for hesitation. No more maybe tomorrow. You're either going to rise or stay buried in your own weakness. It's time to decide who you really are. Are you going to stand up and become the predator? Or are you going to stay stuck? Just another prey to the world's cruel game. The storm is coming. The question is, will you let it consume you, or will you become the storm? The time is now. The choice is yours. Stand up or stay down. This is where it ends. This is where you stop hiding. The truth is no longer optional. You've been given every chance to rise, to transform, to turn your pain into power. Now there are no more excuses, no more second chances. What you do right here, right now will define you. There's no room for weakness. No room for failure. You've let fear hold you for too long. Let hesitation steal your potential. The time for waiting is over. You either burn with the fire of your ambition, or you get consumed by the ashes of regret. You've spent your life looking for a way out, looking for someone else to fix your problems. But the world doesn't work that way. No one is coming to save you. No one is coming to hand you the victory on a silver platter. You're alone in this fight. And the only thing that matters is how you choose to respond. Will you continue to let life stomp on you, keep you in the dirt? Or will you rise up and take control? The storm inside you is raging, but it's up to you whether you become its force or its victim. You've been given the blueprint for your own destruction or your own ascension. You've been shown how weak you've allowed yourself to become, how you've allowed fear and doubt to steal your strength. But here's the kicker, that's the easy part. What's hard is moving beyond it. What's hard is looking yourself in the mirror and saying, I will not stay weak anymore. What's hard is looking at your worst enemy, the person who has held you back all this time, and deciding that you'll destroy them. That enemy is inside you. It always has been. The time for excuses is gone. There's no more time to waste. This is your last chance. Either you make the decision to rise, to become something unbreakable, or you accept the fact that you will always be chained to your own weakness. The only way out is through. The only way to victory is to fight with everything you've got and never stop, no matter how hard it gets. The world will not wait for you. It will not give you a second chance. You either rise or you stay buried. The choice is yours. Make it count. This is where it ends. And this is where you decide whether you'll be remembered as a coward or a warrior. There are no more words, no more excuses, no more distractions. It's you against the world now, and the only person standing in your way is the reflection staring back at you. That version of you, the one full of doubt, full of fear, full of excuses, needs to be obliterated. The person who's been holding you back is the one you see when you look in the mirror. And unless you choose to destroy that weakness, You'll never be more than a shadow of what you could have been. You've heard the truth. You've been shown the way. Now it's time to step into the fire and become the weapon you've been hiding from. There's no more later, no more maybe. This is the moment that defines you. Will you walk away and stay a victim? Or will you step into the storm and come out unbreakable? Will you burn everything that's holding you down? Or will you let it bury you? There is no comfort here, no easy road. You either rise and embrace your power, or you stay stuck in the same rut you've been in your whole life. This is the last warning. Time will not wait. Life will not wait for you to figure it out. It will chew you up and spit you out if you refuse to take action. You've been given the tools, the mindset, the fire, and now it's time to use it. If you choose to stay weak, the world will crush you. But if you choose to rise, nothing can stop you. The pain you feel, the doubt that's always whispered in your ear, it's all part of the process. It's the forge that will shape you into the warrior you were meant to be. But it's up to you to decide. Will you fight, or will you stay buried? Your time is now. Choose wisely.